I don't think most DBD players understand how bad and unforgiving the beginner experience is until they get to convince their friends to try the game out. And you already know it's bad when new players describe their experience as getting their butts touched. And yeah, there's already been people who have talked about this topic before, but I feel like most of the community is still extremely oblivious to how bad this problem is. Which, to be fair, makes sense, because the tricky part in noticing how rough the beginner experience is finding a friend who actually wants to play with you. Well, I'm lucky to say, in my almost 8 years of playing this game, I managed to convince some of my friends to play Dead by Daylight with me. And none of them ever played with me again. Okay, let's get this out of the way first. You can have fun while losing in a game, especially in a horror game.
What the fuck?
But you know what's not fun? Getting steamrolled every single match. Again, and again, and again. And yeah, also, imagine the silent judgment in the Discord in this moment, when I convinced them to buy this game because I said this game was the shit, and then they had to sit through all of this after getting 4K'd for the last 5 games. And what makes it not fun for beginners is that they don't even know what the hell is going on half the time they're getting steamrolled. Which brings me to my first point: there's too much information, not enough explanation. So you see the gen, right? You hold left click to repair it, and that's basically it. Bro, it's not working. Why? Oh. Bro, what happened to you? I told you to run to a pallet. My guy, the pallet didn't work. Why? Oh. You know what I'm saying? There's 9 years of information coming at you, and there's too little explanation. But good thing we have a tutorial, right?
Oh my god, bro.
So they've actually changed the tutorial a bit since the last time I played it, which was years ago. But it still sucks. Why? Because it's 2025, but the tutorial is teaching you how to play this game back in like 2016, when the game looked like this.
They'll never find us. We lost price. We fucking lost price.
What I mean by that is the tutorial's treating the game like it still revolves around hiding and seeking, which was how this game was played like way back in the day. But it's 2025. 90% of a Dead by Daylight match in 2025 all comes down to 2 questions. How long can I loop the killer when playing as survivor? And how quickly can I end the chase when playing as killer? These 2 questions will determine if you're gonna get steamrolled or not. But the tutorial doesn't teach you a single thing about looping, which is actually so stupid. It's like they want to get their new killers bullied on purpose, like some kind of initiation ritual. Also, don't get me wrong, the tutorial actually does its job at teaching you how the game works, but I think it would be so much cooler if you teach them the basics of how to loop or how to chase survivors. Like, how cool would it be to have like extra chapters in the tutorial where they teach you how to loop common tiles like the shack or like T-walls and stuff like that. Going back to the too much information thing though, we can't really fully blame the tutorial for this, because what's it gonna do if there's already a million different perks that alter the fundamentals of this game? And because of this too much information, not enough explanation issue, I noticed my friends were more confused and scared, and getting chased by the killer was more annoying than terrifying. And it's going to get worse as new DLCs inevitably start dropping in the future. And speaking of DLCs, holy ballsack of Michael Myers. This game is secretly The Sims 4 Scary Game Edition. You know how when you try to play The Sims raw? Like without DLCs, you'll start to realize how empty the game feels without buying the endless amounts of expansion packs. Yeah. That's also Dead by Daylight for you. Literally the only difference that these 2 games have is where I get them from. Cause one's from Steam and one's from Fit Girl repacks. If you know, you know. I've been mainly focusing more on the survivor side since the start of the video, but this chapter goes out to my killer mains out there. Cause let's face it, for a game that's designed to be casual, even for a long time player, it really does feel mandatory to play with meta perks if you wanna have a decent time. And without DLCs, you can still actually make a decent build as a survivor. For killers though, to give you a visual representation of how bad killers have it, here's the top 10 most used survivor perks. And here's the perks that are not locked behind a paywall. Half of it disappeared like a freaking Thanos snap. But considering that there's 100 other survivor perks that could be in this list, that's honestly really good. Now here's the top 10 most used killer perks. Now guess how many of these aren't hidden behind the paywall? A A freaking foot is all you're left with. And no, the Shrine of Secrets isn't gonna save this issue, okay? Stop. Nor is the use of iridescent shards to buy DLC characters. Because if you think that grinding the game for hours just to buy a single DLC character is what you expect from a new player, DLCs are also the reason why I wanted to make this video so much, because FNAF is coming, and it's coming in hot. I mean, it's probably out by now as you're watching this YouTube video, and I just want to ask, how is it? How is the FNAF community feeling the bullying? The poor kids who just want to play Springtrap and kill people. I feel so bad for them. Anyways, if you made it this far in the video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. Making videos is my secret passion project while I slave my soul away in university, and it genuinely makes my day to see people think my videos are entertaining enough to make them like and subscribe. Anyways, moving on to our next point. The most important question we need to answer when talking about how bad the game is for new players is, what kind of game is Dead by Daylight supposed to be? Because if it's designed to be a high-skill competitive game like League of Legends, then of course I'm not gonna complain if my beginner friend gets destroyed in their first game. Like, we signed up to go against men who don't shower, right? But obviously Dead by Daylight is not like League of Legends, because it's a casual horror game. I mean, just look at it, bro. So right now, Dead by Daylight is in that weird spot where it's become the world's most competitive casual horror game. Especially since this game is in the horror genre, and their big strategy to get players is to pull some from large existing fan bases like FNAF. Then behavior that means your new players are not supposed to suffer this bad. Well, unless you play Nerds for your first killer game, then you're basically asking for it, right? Oh no! But Dead by Daylight wasn't always like this. Actually, let's look back at that 2017 gameplay that I showed a while ago, because there was a time when this game was truly a horror game. Killers were actually feared, the game was a blast even if you lost, and survivors hid from the killer, instead of purposefully getting their attention so they could post them in their cringy 360 montage. The game was beautiful. So why did it change? Yep, you read that right. It's your fault. You think the devs ever intended to make their game this sweaty? Dead by Daylight is a perfect example of what happens to every single casual game that was never meant to be competitive. Every single game will have some aspect of competition, and no matter how small or unrewarding it is, there will always be tryhards that want to be the best at it. So when some people wanted to become the best at Dead by Daylight, they did. They abused every single game mechanic, making an infinite loop out of a window, face camping back when hooks weren't multi-directional yet, abusing the crap out of overpowered items such as brand new parts, moonlight offerings, moris, and insta-flashlights. And when the devs patched all of these internal features in the game that could be abused, guess what? People started abusing the game externally, stretching the resolution to get the maximum amount of FOV. Oh, the game's too dark? Let's just So yeah, don't hate the player, hate the game and all that. But if you take a step back and realize we did all of this just so we could one-up each other at the world's most toxic rendition of hide and seek, we actually need to touch some more grass, man. Matter of fact, let's turn this day that this video gets uploaded as DBD's annual Grass Touching Awareness Day. Final thing, and this is actually extremely important and overlooked, so listen up, okay? And I'm very serious when I want to get your full attention, so we're gonna change the gameplay in the background for this one. There we go. The thing that people need to realize when talking about balancing the game is that you have to consider all the different skill levels in this game. So when behavior balance is something that good players are taking advantage of, that only means that will make the game fair for the good players. For the people who are new, it would just add another inch to the learning curve of the game. For example, even the smallest balance changes like nerfing the speed boost duration when you take a hit. Don't get me wrong, it's a really good and needed balance to the game as it punishes good players who will just hold the W key in a straight line to lose you. But you know who gets punished more with this change?
Oh my god! Bro, I'm tired of this game, bro. I'm about to get off this game, dog.
The new players, of course. So these small changes in the game's history have been adding inches to the learning curve, to the point where when we stop and take a look back, we see that we've not made a learning curve, but a learning cliff. So, how do we fix all of this mess? Well, I don't freaking know, I'm not Odstarvo.
Hello friends, this is Odds, Pinky Promise.
But you know what I am? A former Fortnite
Sweat. I'm joking. Boom, bam, bop, bada bop, boom.
I want to apologize for all the things I have done in my YouTube career.
Now you might ask, why the hell does this all matter? Well, viewers, let's gather around the campfire and I'll tell you a little story. You see, back in 2017, Battle Royales were all the rage. And on September of that year, Epic Games released their own Battle Royale game, which quickly dominated not just the Battle Royale genre, but the entire gaming landscape. Now what made it so popular? You could bully kids and dance on them. Also, there's a building mechanic, which is actually more important. Oh yeah, and also we had Ninja.
Yeah, I'm supplying the wood like Elijah.
The game wasn't designed to be extremely sweaty because it was hella RNG. Everything in that game was all up to chance, from the chest drops, where the storm is pulling, where your bullets are gonna go. You get it, RNG everywhere. And even if the game was built on the idea of being the last man standing, anyone at any skill level could enjoy the game.
What is this? Is this a porn set?
Everyone was bad at the game, and because of that, it was amazing. And it resulted in some of the greatest and funniest moments in gaming history. Then the sweats attacked. Suddenly, the player base produced more sweat than the PC survivors who use controller to hug loops better. Everyone just got too good at building, and it unexpectedly gave a gigantic skill gap between someone who can build and someone who just downloaded the game, leading a ton of casuals and beginners away from Fortnite. Because it came to a point where if you were the type of guy who only played this game on the weekends to relax, and you didn't give yourself 3 hours a day to practice, you're cooked. Now, if you still don't get why I'm telling you what happened to Fortnite and how it lost a lot of their players, think about it. Isn't that exactly the path Dead by Daylight is heading down? A casual game that was never meant to be extremely sweaty, evident from all the RNG, where the player base all started out as bad, but then they got too good because the game's mechanics had the large skill ceiling that the players nor the developers ever expected. And because of this problem, new players who just downloaded the game because they get the chance to play their favorite characters in it don't last long because of how unforgiving the beginner experience is. Fortnite knew that the awful beginner experience was their biggest threat, the thing that could kill the game. So they actually tried a lot of ways to fix it. And all of it sucked ass. They tried every single way to nerf people who can build to even out the playing field for people who can't build, which just led to insane backlash from the community. If there's one thing that Fortnite learned, and what every single game developer should take note of, is that you should just let good players be good. So then, they had one genius idea, the perfect solution to fix the insane learning curve, the one move that would change everything. They knew the skill ceiling for building was never gonna get fixed, so they just started from scratch and added a game mode that removed building altogether. And that's what Dead by Daylight is supposed to do. Ladies and gentlemen, I propose my solution that will fix all of these problems. Copying Fortnite and adding a new game mode. A game mode that is fun but not as sweaty as the original game mode, where beginners won't suffer from information overload, and where perks and DLCs won't make the game pay to win or play to win. Oh, and plus points of playing it would improve your skills in the original game. Also, I'm sorry I made it so much more dramatic than it should be, but let's face it, the normal game mode is beyond fixing. So let's just copy Fortnite and start from scratch. I mean, Dead by Daylight has already copied a lot from it, so why not copy what they did to fix the terrible beginner experience? Now you might ask, what do you do to make a fun and less sweaty game mode of Dead by Daylight? I don't freaking know, but I know it's possible. I mean, League has ARAM, Fortnite has zero build, and Counter-Strike has a ton of community-created game modes. And honestly, it does look like DBD is headed in the right direction. With all the new game modes they've been trying, I actually find a lot of them enjoyable. They just need to keep on trying until they invent a game mode that is good enough to be permanent, and at the same time forgiving to those people who just downloaded the game to play like Springtrap. Leave a comment down below if you disagree with me in any part of the video, because I'm just gonna ignore it. And please leave a comment if you have any ideas on how to make the perfect sweat-proof Dead by Daylight game mode, because knowing behavior, they always find a way to mess it up.